Welcome to tonight's Top 100 Shortcuts for Logos 8. Now, this is part 5 of 5, but we still have about 20 more shortcuts to do once we finish tonight's webinar. So, we're going to do a bonus 6 webinar on January 13th to wrap up the final 20 shortcuts of the Top 100 Shortcuts for Logos 8. Over the last few webinars, we have looked at miscellaneous shortcuts, resources that save you time, shortcuts to give us Bible information, shortcuts to get summarized data quickly, and now we're going to look tonight at searching shortcuts as well as key sections from guides to save time. So let's get started with the top 100 shortcuts for Logos 8, part 5 of 5. Our first shortcut is number 36, and this is about searching combinations of various tags found in the Bible. To do this, we need to open up our Bible. So let's go ahead and open up our preferred translation. Mine is the NASB 95. I'm going to go to the command box and type in NASB 95. You'll see under the resource menu that appears, I can open my preferred Bible. So go ahead and click your preferred Bible. Let's go to Matthew 5:43. So I'm going to click in the Bible reference box and type in MAT 5:43. Notice you don't have to type in the colon. Once you have the verse in there, you can select it from the menu below or simply press enter. Now here we have a quote, Jesus quoting the Old Testament, "You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy." Now we have some icons here. One's a speaker or megaphone, and the other one is a person icon. Now if we right click on the word you, we can get access to the meaning of those speaker megaphones and person icons. And if we scroll down, we're going to see very quickly what they are. In the case of the megaphone, its scripture is the speaker. And if we click the triangle to expand it, we can also see Jesus as a speaker. So it's Jesus quoting the Old Testament. Now the second icon is a person, and you can see that it's primarily the audience of scripture, the addressee, but also, more specifically, it's the crowd at the Sermon on the Mount. That's who's being addressed in the historical context. So this is pretty neat. We want to search on a combination of these tags. So let's do the first one. Let's search on Scripture. And so I'm going to click on the Scripture, and then I'm going to click on Bible just to the right. Now what that's going to do is open up Logos Bible Software's Bible search engine. Notice it's done all the heavy lifting for me and has typed in the specific search criteria to find every place in the Bible where the Bible is speaking. Notice this is all New Testament, so it's the New Testament quoting the Old Testament. By the way, with the new release of Logos 8.10, you're now going to see these Bible cards below, and they are simply to inform you when you open up a window what the purpose of that window is. And it also links you to the help menu. We're going to come back to this, but for now, I'm just going to click the minimize button to hide it. Okay, so we've run the search and we have found every place where the scriptures are speaking, but that's only one tag. Now let's right click on you again, and let's look at some other tags in here. The one that I want to search on in particular is the fact that this is a legal quote, a quote from the law. This is really important. So if we look through these various tags, we're going to find specifically under discourse literary typing, we're going to see narrative, quotation, Old Testament, saying, legal. That's the one I want to do. So I'm going to click on that option, and once again, at the right, choose Bible. Now, again, Logos does the heavy lifting and types out the specific search criteria. So here's every place where the law is being referred to. Now, what I want to do is find the combination of both, like we have in our Matthew 5:43 text. So to do this, you can see that I've run two separate searches. Now I want to combine them. So since Logos has the search criteria already highlighted, all I have to do is hit Control-X on the PC or Command-X on the Mac. And I did that. So I am essentially cutting all that content. Now I can close the search window by clicking on the X located here. And now I can return to the other search window. Now it's very important. Notice it too is highlighted. So if you paste, you're going to overwrite it. So what you have to do is click in the search box so the highlight goes away. Then press the space bar and then press Control V to paste from the PC or Command V to paste from the Mac. Now we have both items in the search box. Let's go ahead and press enter. Now I would expect to get Matthew 5:43, there it is. But now I have 18 results in 9 verses. So these are all the places where someone is speaking, that is specifically the scriptures are speaking, and when the scriptures are speaking, they are using scripture that has been tagged as legal saying. And there's our list. This is pretty cool. This is essentially looking at all the places where the law was being literally quoted in the text. Pretty cool little list. Now, although we just did 2 combinations, you can see that you can do different types of combinations and even more than 2 items. But keep in mind, as you keep adding additional criteria, you will reduce the search results because it's going to be harder and harder to find those combinations. So take advantage of this combination search so that you can narrow your search results and therefore you have better information. Let's go to shortcut number 35, how to find a proverb in a passage. I love this feature. I use it all the time for teaching and preaching. So the first thing we need to do is open up the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. To do this, we can click on the library icon at the top and then type in the word treasury, scripture, and knowledge. Now, if you have the new Treasury of Scripture Knowledge, definitely open that one. But for this training video, I'm going to use the one that I know most of you should have, and that is the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. So I'm going to click and open the book. There it is. Now, the first thing we want to do is open the inline search engine. And that is just to the right of the Bible verse. You can see it there. And it has a search magnifying glass. Now, the reason it's called inline search is that the search results will appear literally in the window that you're viewing. So we're viewing the new Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. The search results will appear in this book. Now, here's what we're trying to do. Let's say we're studying James 4:1. So I'm going to put in less than sign, James, space 4:1, greater than sign. You can see as I'm typing, James 4:1 appears to confirm that's what I'm looking for. If we simply typed in James 4:1 by itself, without the brackets, you're going to see that Logos will take a little time to find it, but we will see James 4:1 in the list. I have found it to just be much more efficient to put in that less than sign, start typing James 4:1. Logos will right away recognize I'm looking for a passage. So go ahead and click James 4:1. Now notice immediately below the search results are now appearing and our Treasury of Scripture Knowledge has gone away. Think of this as a filter. So now I have every place where James 4:1 is mentioned in the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. Now this particular search is really useful when I'm trying to find a proverb related to the passage I'm studying. So I've gone ahead and scrolled to the section where Proverbs is mentioned. And we have Proverbs 10:12, 13:10, 23, 21:10. Now, if I float my mouse over the verse in the old version, I just get the name of the book. I'm going to click on Proverbs 10:12 to open up the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge, and there we are at 10:12. Now, to read the verse, all I have to do is float my mouse over, in this case, verse 12. And there it is. Hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. And in case you weren't familiar with James 4:1, James 4:1 says, "Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that warn your members?" So you can see this is a great cross-reference, and this is an excellent proverb to help us remember these truths. We have another one here, Proverbs 13:10. Let me flip my mouse over that one. "By pride comes nothing but strife, but with the well-advised is wisdom." So I love this because it's showing you that behind these quarrels and fights in James 4:1, there's pride. So take advantage of the inline search to search within the book to find specific information. Now I'm going to go ahead and close the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. To close the inline search, just locate the X right here, click that, and that will return you back to where you were in the Treasury of Scripture Knowledge. Great little feature. Let me go ahead and close this window by clicking here on the X. We're now ready to approach shortcut number 34. This is a fun one to do at times, and it's pretty straightforward. You probably all have done this one, and that is searching the words of Christ. It's very straightforward, and there's a couple ways to go at it. The first is simply to use the special code, WOC, Words of Christ, colon, and then you put in a word or a phrase. If it's a single word, just type it in, like heaven, and then press enter. And Logos will literally search just the words of Christ, that is, the red letters, for this word being used. This is very powerful. So here we have WOC colon heaven, and we can see all the places where Christ talks about heaven. Now, we could put another space in there, type in the word OR in capital letters, and do WOC again, but this time we could put in the word hell. So here's all the searches where it includes heaven or hell. Notice by using the or, heaven is in yellow and hell is blue. And this is very nice because it saves you a lot of time because you're just searching for the words of Christ. Now, this can be very powerful if you're looking to understand what Jesus said, the various topics he addressed, and you do this by searching just his words. It's a very powerful way of studying the very words of Christ and the teachings of Christ. So take advantage of that. The second way of doing this is to eliminate the special codes and simply type in the words heaven or all capital letters, hell, and go up to search all Bible text. When you click that, you're going to see the option search fields. Go ahead and click the triangle to expand it. Then you'll see words of Christ. Go ahead and check that box. Then click words of Christ on the menu and rerun the search. Notice that we've got 125 results and 116 verses. We rerun it, 125 results and 116 verses. In other words, identical search results. So if you ever forget these special codes, just remember you can go right up here and expand the search fields and you can see what your options are for each text. To clear it out, simply click the clear button and you're good to go. Let's move on to shortcut 33. Now what I want to show you with this one is intersecting a combination of tags. This is a little bit different and typically applies to interlinears, but it is an important shortcut to be aware of. So here's what we're going to do. First thing we want to do is find the tag for searching on the person of Christ. So here we are at Matthew 5:43. We'll go ahead and right-click on you. When the right-click menu opens up, we'll scroll down at the left, locate the speaker icon. So we're looking for Jesus to be the speaker. So we click the triangle to expand it. There's Jesus the speaker. We click on it, and then we go over to the right and click on Bible. Now we have every place where Jesus is the speaker. Very powerful. But we want to reduce the search results and focus on the topic. Now we've been talking about heaven and hell. Let's search where these two can intersect. That is, where Jesus is the speaker and he's talking about the topic of heaven. So here we have in Matthew 5:45 the word heaven. And if we right click on it, we not only have the sense of heaven, but we have the Lohnidah number. I want to do this with the Lohnidah number. So we'll click on Lohnidah, and we're going to then click on Lohnidah lookup. The Lohnidah dictionary will open up to specifically the Lohnidah definition and number that's associated with this Greek word. But what we want to do is search on all the terms. So what we have to do is we have to open up the table of contents. So you click on the hamburger menu at the top left, and then you scroll to the first number in the code. So 1.11, code 1, the first one represents the category. And there it is, geographical objects. Now, then we look at the second number, 11, and find that in the list. Turns out it's under the B section, and there it is. Now, what we want to know is, well, what's the B section? And if we float our mouse, we see regions above the earth. Okay. And if we click on that, we're given the range of codes for all the Greek words associated with this category, regions above the earth. So let's go ahead and select that text and choose copy from the context menu. If your context menu has been disabled, simply select the text, right-click, and copy. Now, let's go back to our search window. Let's make a change to our search. So we're going to use the word intersect. So hit a space bar and type in the word intersects space, and then put in there less than sign, LN, space, squiggly, and then another space, and then you can paste the code and end it with a greater than sign. So what we have is speaker person Jesus, the left side, all capital letters, intersects, and then in brackets, the Lohnidah code range for things above the earth. Now, here's what's going on. We are looking for a place in the text where the tag, Jesus is speaking, intersects with one of these low-knighted terms. Let me go ahead and press enter so you can see the search results. So here's what's going on. Each of these search results may have a different underlying Greek word. Now, what I like about this is that we're still searching the words of Christ, but in a much more precise way and in a different way. It turns out you can't do this search with the words of Christ. You have to do it this way. So this gives you another alternative, but it also helps you understand how to think through some special searches when you're searching an interlinear Bible. So hope that was helpful, and you want to take advantage of that. Let me go ahead and close all these items down so we can clear up our layout. Now, this next shortcut is a lot of fun, and it's especially pertinent to those of you who teach and preach and like to do alliteration. So let's go to our library, click the library icon, and let's open up the Webster's 11th Dictionary, 11th edition. And if you don't have